And this seems like Team Islands. Oh yeah, so it's going to be yet another map with water, and Team Islands are in for BF and ONUs. Okay, so looking at the water overall, I don't see much of a problem. Potentially the right side is slightly less ideal for Bratters because there's kinda a lot of space between those fishing spots. And there's obviously quite a lot of emptiness in here on the right side. So if he happens to place a dog here, well, that's definitely not going to be all that nice. But if he goes for something offensive like placement here, or even in the middle here, he's definitely going to be quite happy about it. But, well, so far that's not what's happening here. She trying to make sure that she discovers as much as he can before the dock is placed. Second one as well. And so far, do we see some movement for the dock somewhere? Well, we don't. Right, obviously. And we see a bit of a scouting from yellow. And since he's scouting in the forefront, he's potentially trying to find what kind of spot would be ideal for placing the dock for him. Looking at the islands overall, relic here in the middle here, and there's some others. Second one on the top, so that's two for the island of BFs who are playing Huns and Vikings, the same as Onus, so that's yet another proper mirror. And there's one relic on this left island and second one also. Okay, so two relics per each island, and that seems to be pretty much equal in the department. Now, looking at the placement of the mines or whatever, this seems to be pretty much a decent placement overall. Not really definitely could have used it somewhere else, but not bad. Looking how he's already having double gold mines and one stone mine inside his base at any rate, and this is not really all that close to the water. It would still be possible to shoot at it, for example, in Imperial Age with Galleons or whatever, but yeah, that's going to be so late into the game that I would be slightly expecting that this mine is already going to be more or less out. And well, then he has this extra one. Boars on the left. Does he know about them? He knows about the board on the right, so that's going to be just a 1. But otherwise, he definitely needs to look a bit further to the left if he wants the extra boon that is waiting for him there. He does have the extra one in at the top Stark, and I kinda guessing that he knows about it. Yeah, he does. He does, and he has already scouted quite well. And looking at somewhere else, that's going to be, for example, his teammate Thor. How's it looking in his base? Pretty decent tree line. Well, that's quite bountiful. That's going to take him like until the end of the game, actually, to get rid of all these trees. And he's right now using his scout very nicely to get the boar closer to his TC, but it doesn't seem to be aiming to listen, at least so far. Some good hits. And oh yeah, you have to be a bit more careful Thor here because you are running away just too fast. Yeah, right now stopping quite nicely, and this time it could be working for him quite nicely. Has he already butchered some of the boars here? No, he hasn't. So they seem to be still hidden from him, one at the bottom. So yep, these are those two starting boars. I'm going to switch into Thor to have a proper look at his line of sight, and he actually, well, he's hidden in the darkness here, isn't it? Oh yeah, it was, but not really anymore, so he should be well aware where it is and shouldn't be having any kind of problems locating it, and it shouldn't be making his start any kind of harder. Dock placed by Stark in the very offensive position here in the middle. Same could be said about yellow, so it seems like that absolutely everybody is going for a bit of an aggressive side here, so they will be potentially all four going for very fast galley rush. As Red is also building an aggressive dock, and same would be said about homers. So absolutely everybody going for the middle. And well, is there maybe some kind of plan for either from the teams going for some fast landing? Also could be true here. Villagers seem to be pretty much okay, just Thor is slightly lagging behind. Not really all that much, but slightly is, but at the same time Stark is slightly ahead, so it seems like that everybody, or rather both teams, are more or less equal in everything here. Something interesting otherwise on the islands, not much, just a bit of a hunt and wolfies in the middle. Quite a lot of wolfies actually. It's going to be quite nice protection against some kind of landing later on. That's definitely something that they would be very happy about. Placement of the mines, very sweet for yellow. Doesn't have any kind of problems whatsoever that it would be threatened by their opponents or whatever. And same could be said about red. Really, this is maybe slightly unfortunate that it's behind the tree line, but at the same time it's not very close to the water, so shouldn't be facing any kind of problems with getting in from that through safety, especially when he has the second stone mine and extra gold mine at the back near his opponent. or rather his ally rather, sorry. Extra stone, extra gold, very nicely positioned for blue. Really not any kind of problems. Extra gold here in the middle as well. So really, I don't see any kind of problems whatsoever for either of these teams. And we also see extra relic actually on the right side of this island. So BFs, well, they might be having a bit more gold trickle in the later game. We see advances into the next age for Stark and Bradford. Stark already dropped the second dock, potentially going for a third. Yeah, right now he is going for a third dock. And Red is so far having just one, but going for the second one also. But I would be expecting that he will be slightly slower, especially looking how he's going to be having just two docks, whereas Stark is going to be having three. So that's going to be quite a huge advantage for him in the early galley rush time. Blue is still having also just one dock. Nothing could be said about yellow. And not anymore. He's going for second one, and well, they are basically advancing at the same time. And looking at the villages, only Hobers is having extra numbers, just 22. Not exactly sure how he managed that, but well, he's going to be quite ahead above his opponent Thor. So it's going to be quite interesting how this is going to develop in the early water battle. If somebody is going for faster castle, I'm not exactly sure at this stage. But triple docks for green, and let's switch into him. Let's switch into him with the guys already trickling in. And well, we will definitely be looking at red as well, because we need to know if the engagement is going to be happening anytime soon. And yes, it will. So galley rush from both of these. It will be three docks versus three docks, but slightly slower for Bratwurst, which might actually make all the difference, because obviously these early battles on the water are all about micro and the sheer numbers of the units. And when you are basically fighting across the strait, which is very close indeed, that's not going to be any kind of there's not really going to be any kind of room for mistakes on either side. Red already having the boats here ready, with third coming in for a Stark, so he needs just to wait, but he is very nicely delaying the third dock, which is also quite valuable at this stage. Yeah, third dock finished, but not without a huge delay. Very nicely played by Stark. At the top, we see the three docks from yellow, and are they actually pumping out boats as well? Well, not really. As a fourth dock coming up, but he doesn't really seem to be aiming for quite a lot of boats, especially at the start. Okay, that's because... Oh no, these are actually Stark's docks, because I'm somewhere else on the map. Oh my. God damn it, sorry. I was looking at the other part of the map. Obviously, there's quite a lot of boats right now coming out from the... God damn it. From the yellow docks. And is there going to be something in response from blue? Blue is still having just the one dock. And he's actually going for a landing. And he has already successfully landed here. So, well. That's going to be a bit of a surprise. And even though he has landed exactly at the spot that I said earlier is going to be nicely protected by wolfies, with the extra army here preparing exactly for that, yeah, that's going to be quite hard for the opponents to deal with, because right now I would be kind of guessing that through game experience, Thor and Stark should be realizing what is happening here. Yeah, right now he's going to be discovering very soon what's happening here. But it's going to be way too late, because already the military buildings and the archer ranges are up, and they are already pumping quite a lot of extra units here. But yellow is well aware, which means that he's also going for walling, and I think he actually knew this because of those corpses from the wolves, and that's very nice from him to notice that he was paying enough attention. And right now with the stone walls coming in, it might just be that the raiding from the blue player is not going to do any kind of good at all. Well, he should be definitely careful about this villager being on the wrong side of the wall. That's probably going to be a human sacrifice right there. With third archer range coming up for Homers, but he should be kinda rethinking what he's doing at this stage, because he definitely needs to know that yellow is not going to be surprised, and he's walled up quite nicely. And he should be switching into green as fast as he can, because obviously green is so far not preparing. Well, he is, but kinda slowly. But he's also going for blacksmith and advancing to the next stage. On the water battle, it seems like that Red is doing a pretty good job, even though he was slower than Stark in starting his boats. And especially the third dog in there, but well, Really, doesn't seem like that anybody is going to be winning any kind of substantial battle. But also looking how Blue is not having any kind of water economy and is not even having boats, this will basically develop very easily into 2 versus 1 on the water. And this might result in pretty clear game on the blue part of the map and will definitely hang in the balance if Blue can do something reasonable with his landing. So far I wouldn't really be convinced because very nice walling from... Oh yeah, okay. This was kind of unfortunate for him because he did not anticipate that Blue will be here so fast, and that means that there's still a, well, way through right inside his base, and that's pretty much sucks for him because quite obviously, oh yeah, this is going to hurt. He's right now sending all the villagers to actually finish the wall, and I kind of think it's worth it, even though he might lose all of those Phillies. It might be just exactly what is going to protect him from death altogether, because obviously if he can finish the wall, it's going to be quite powerful indeed. So far though, he didn't really finish it. He was able just to nick a bit of hit points, 37 hit points, that's like nothing. That should be pulled through without any kind of problems, and he will be needing army pretty soon. But it seems like that the wall in the middle has bought him exactly that. A Semite from the Czech Republic, definitely hear the accent I think. And those skirmishers are definitely going to be putting a pretty strong stop to this archer raiding from the blue player. So, not really good times for the BFB team. The water seems to be reasonably decided, as Stark has been able to eliminate quite a lot of boats and right now is having quite a decidedly upper hand, with Red fighting a bit of a battle here with Yellow, but obviously with the big numbers coming into ONU's favor, this is something like just a delay of time and hoping that Homers can do something substantial with the raiding of his archers. Well, Thor could be slightly more careful, as he needs to amass a bit of an army to be ready for all those archers, because they are getting definitely up in numbers, and even though skirmishes are damn good counters for archers, when the numbers are just too high, yeah, it doesn't get all that great as it could have potentially. Trying to build yet another archer range, losing villages in the meantime, with Thor being dropped just to 21. Just 21 villagers, whereas Homers is having 41, Bratters 36, and Stark 39. But at the same time, you can also see that BFs have none fishing boats, whereas Stark is having 4 and Thor 7. So even though Thor is losing villagers, he's still having quite a lot of fishing boats. Assamite, well, this is normal standard clan war, so that's team islands. Both teams are having a rule of their own island, but Homers has already landed on the opponent's one, and they are fighting as much as they can right now. You can see yellow against blue, and well, ONUs are one team, and BFs are the second team. Still a pretty decent army from blue right now. But the army from yellow at this stage seems to be pretty great, and I would be thinking that he needs to either advance into Castle Age or basically rethink his strategy, because the amount of guys that are here right now is going to be quite deadly for him, especially if he goes for a bit more extra. Oh yeah, he wants to, but he's housed. And once he isn't housed and employs a bit more extra spearmen, it's going to be even end to this Scout Cavalry raiding, which is a pretty good idea and very nice switch to the situation and accommodation to the situation. That's what I wanted to say here. Pretty decent army right now for yellow, and if he can wait a bit patiently for the spearman, he will be doing a pretty good job at defending. And once Stark actually is in the castle age, faster than Homers, I would be thinking that he will be supplying quite a lot of siege and will be getting rid of all those buildings from the blue player here. On the water, that's definitely everything decided. There's not going to be any kind of extra fight here. Nobody expects that, I think, even though Homers is advancing into the castle age and going for bloodlines. But look at how he is a Han. He will be switching into knights pretty soon, and that will be yet another problem potentially for Thor. Right now, just trying to make sure that he kills as many villages or rather as many archers as he can. Doing a pretty good job at that, but he needs to position those spearmen much better right now, trying to micro them around for this Scout Cavalry, each will die, and the second one will also die very easily. And this wasn't really ideal for Homers because obviously he wasn't paying enough attention here and he didn't want to lose all those Scout Cavalry units because right now he will be forced to retreat as he doesn't have any kind of counter to all those skirmishers here. Bit of a landing from Stark as well. He has already landed as he's in castle, dropping siege workshop on red, and also quite a lot of archer ranges himself. And looking how he's a hunt, there's probably going to be quite a lot of cavalry archers at this stage, and that will be very easy raiding for him, because obviously the opponents are not ready for any kind of attack like this. Red is right now going to discover. Unfortunately for him, it's not going to be any kind of secret, but I don't think he minds all that much because obviously this is going to be ringing all kinds of bells in both BF players, and well, this might be pretty much it. Quite a lot of boats right now killing even the food economy, and cavalry archers coming in to kill the economy from homers. Yeah, that's pretty well done by Stark, and maybe he won't even need to build anything on this mainland because all he needs to do to protect his teammate Thor and allow him to come back and kill Homers just by himself is, well, basically raid the economy and deny any kind of income for the blue player. I'm going to have a look if he's maybe being slung. Oh yeah, he is. Bratters is slinging into homers, so that's also the reason why he's doing so well and why he's also Castle Age going for crossbowman. And quite a lot of outposts coming up by Stark, who is just trying to make sure that he knows as much about the lay of the land as possible, so that it allows him to go for some pretty effective raiding. Bit of a remaining red boats. Not much more than that though, but this is pretty crucial. Yellow has been finally able to fill the hole in the wall, which is definitely a big problem because right now he will be needing siege workshop. I'm talking about homers, and so far he doesn't have that. He is just building a TC, which is also a decent idea to get some extra villages in and also build some extra castles pretty soon. And more than that, still extra economy on the gold and the stone from his opponent. Yellow is right now quite ready with all the skirmishes here, and Spearman basically booming himself, booming as much as he can at this stage, having just 32 villages, so he definitely needs something extra and needs to get back into the game as soon as possible. Still a lot of raiding going on from the green player, but he's also facing some kind of opposition from blue, who is switching from raiding on yellow and defending on his mainland. And let's see if this raiding from Stark is literally going to be enough for everything that is happening here. Monastery is definitely a pretty great idea with trying to convert all those knights from his opponent, and that's definitely going to be quite hard for blue to defend as obviously he doesn't have any kind of country unit to all those monks, and I don't really think that red will be anywhere close with helping him in that because he is slinging him. Right now green trying to house red. And it might be happening quite soon actually, because he's on a very low amount of houses right now at Haiti. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's going to be 25 less. And that will be almost housed. Not much happening in the mainland. Just waiting for the correct moment it seems, but Thor is also advancing into Castle Age, and once he is in Castle Age he will be having a pretty easy way of destroying all this forward base by homers. Basically he will be allowed to build siege workshop and whatever he wants from it, and he will be also switching into spearmen or rather pikemen, and that will be all that much more problematic for all this kind of army from his opponent. On the mainland of BFs, there's still quite a lot of army coming in from blue, trying to raid and kill some of the units from the blue player, or rather from the green player, but with those monks here and extra support by all those galleys, well, that's not going to be all that easy for them. Looking at the fishing boats, Homers is having none, and BF of course altogether none, Stark 6 and ONU Thor 7, so he's still using them quite nicely, and I'm kinda curious why he's at least having those 2, or rather 4. He could very easily kill them, but he doesn't feel like he needs the extra pop limit just yet. Bit of a denial of the stone here, which is also pretty crucial because obviously he needs all the stone for potential castles or even extra TCs, and he will be maybe forced to build or rather buy some extra, as I don't see any stones anywhere else, just here on the left, but that's basically the same open stone as is on the forefront, and well, yep, that's a bit of a problem and potential opportunity for homers to beat his opponent. Some few cheap shots, very nice job, finally noticed. with elite skirmishers right now. Oh, well, that's pretty deadly. That's pretty deadly for Homers, and I'm kinda thinking that he's actually not concentrating on this battlefield. He's probably, yeah, he was definitely looking somewhere else, and he has lost pretty much the whole army right now. And even though Blue is going to break through, it's not going to be anything substantial. With the extra help from the pikemen, he'll be getting rid of this army without any kind of problem. Yep, this was basically because Homers was paying attention to his mainland, with the knights trying to catch those stray or rather cavalry archers that are still raiding his economy all around the map. But this seems like developing into some kind of other strategy from Stark at this stage, as he is moving in. Also raiding at the bottom quite nicely at Bratwurst, because the tree line is very thin here, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least all 5 villages dead, and that was a very successful raiding from him overall. Right now at least he's trying to break through the walls, and once he does, oh, ho, ho. Oh well, I think he's going to shoot at those gold villagers even under the fire of the tower. That's going to be well worth it, and here we see with the GGs, and it seems like, yeah, with Blue losing absolutely everything in the attack on Thor, this is basically for him, calling it the GG, and that's it for this match. Well, that was quite an interesting strategy from BFs with Homers landing on the mainland and being slacked by his teammate, but unfortunately for him, Onus did notice quite fast, Thor did really notice even before all those archer ranges were up, which basically meant that he could wall fast enough and also prepare with his buildings like barracks and archer ranges before the situation got way out of hand. And then, well, the raiding of Stark on the economy was also pretty helpful. Well, pretty nice job. Pretty nice job by Onus and very controlled performance here. So let's have a look at the achievements. With Stark yet again winning absolutely everything. The economy stats, only Bratwurst did have a bit more extra food. And he was slinging quite a lot into homers. But unfortunately for them, it wasn't good enough to kill Thor before Stark could land and kill the economy of both of his opponents. Okay then, GG.